Probably choose Miami in the 80s.
Ooh,
Super coked up. Real
Coked up, full of Cuban immigrants. That'd be really fucking cool.
That would be amazing. Good salsa.
That you can't eat because it's in the
Not
movie.
salsa, not food salsa. Dancing
yeah.
salsa. Fucking white boy.
I knew what you meant, Lucas.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Popcorn Revolver, where three dudes talk about movies that we like and sometimes don't like. My name is Ben, and I'm one of your three hosts.
Hi, I'm Mitch. I'm also one of your three hosts.
Hey, put him up. Lucas.
Oh, God.
Trying something.
I'm sorry, we rain on your parade. That's my bad. Every month, each of us picks a movie based on a theme, and then we talk about it. This month's theme is movies with a budget under $300,000. And today we get to discuss my pick, the 1990 Richard Linklater film Slacker. Slacker, yeah.
Oh, God.
There's some background necessary for this movie. The budget, $23,000. It wasn't Richard Linklater's first movie, but it's like his first real movie, I guess you could say. It was shot completely on 16 millimeter film, which is normally like homemade films type film stock. And it's about a camera that floats around the city of Austin and kind of just people watches. It just floats in between characters, and you get to watch these random vignettes of random people talk to each other before the camera floats to another person and you're taken on a new adventure. It's a classic indie movie. It's a mastodon in the genre. Mastodon? Is that a word that people use to describe it?
Sure. I mean, why not?
It inspired a lot of people to get into filmmaking because it's just so bare bones. It's one of those movies you watch, and if you really like movies, it gives you that feeling that, oh, fuck, I could make something like this. I could make a movie. It's set in Austin, Texas, and Austin is a notoriously weird place. From what I could gather online from articles and interviews with locals, the reason why it's so weird is because in the 80s, there was a huge influx of housing followed by a bust that made all the housing really cheap, which attracted a lot of weird counterculture, artsy, hippie type people, and they made it weird.
Hell yeah.
Austin has a really famous music scene, a bunch of wacky locals, tons of weird art. It's also the most progressive city in the fucking deep red hellhole that is Texas. Although, with Joe Rogan and his friends moving to fucking Austin recently, that's probably not going to be the...
It's still Texas.
That's true.
But, remember the Alamo, remember Austin.
The Alamo is in San Antonio, bro.
I know, but Austin's keeping it weird. They're holed out inside the Alamo.
I don't think they're keeping it weird anymore.
Which is in San Antonio.
Stretch your freaking belief. You should get this.
For those uninitiated, Richard Linklater is kind of like, I describe him as the filmmaker's filmmaker. His movies often have premises that sound more like projects. For example, Boyhood is essentially 12 short films, and each one is filmed during a year of the main actor's life from ages 6 to 18. Before Sunrise is a rom-com about a man and a woman who meet on a train and decide to spend a night together. And then Slacker is this indie movie that just kind of floats around between characters. You can plug in so many ideas into these premises that actually making the movie ends up being really easy, especially for like a low budget mindset. And he makes the kinds of movies that results in like mountains of notebooks with notes in them at the end of it.
Didn't he also do School of Rock?
He did do School of Rock, yes.
He did.
Did he
And
also
Dazed
do...
and Confused.
Yeah.
Yep, he did all those. Richard Linklater is cool. I like his movies. So before we get into it, let's do our marquees.
Slacker, the experience of being cornered by a weird dude at a bus stop, but for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it felt very much like that.
Slacker, one of the few good things to come out of Texas.
All right. Very descriptive. Very descriptive.
I don't like Texas. I have family in Houston. It's a terrible place.
Don't alienate the audience.
None of all of our viewers are in Poland.
Well, we have that one Joe Rogan listener that we need.
Yeah.
Need to keep. We need to keep him. He's important.
I think it's secretly Ben, but
Look, Joe Rogan has some all right takes. Let's.
okay.
I'm kidding. Fuck that guy.
I was hoping both of you would say one of the ones I had, but I nope. So I have to choose between
For your
these four.
marquee?
Yeah. Okay. What is this called?
Slacker.
Not streaker. Slacker.
God damn it.
Slacker. Is this fucking play about us?
Okay.
I'm confused on that. I'm
okay,
confused. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this what it's like to listen to us not knowing us podcasting? It's like, yeah, man, and then JFK got killed. You know about that one. I also had Adderall the movie.
I like that one.
I like
too.
that one.
That's good.
I like that one.
Yeah, let's crack into it. I have some questions for you all, and I'm going to ask them to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's generally how questions work.
All right.
I'm excited. This is your first interview format,
This
right?
is my first interview format. Slacker is a movie that doesn't really have a consistent plot. It's just it follows a character with the camera for a while, and then when another character walks by, it tags off onto them, and then it follows them for a while. So you meet a lot of different characters along the way, and I'd like to ask some questions about the characters. First of all, which character do you think was the most like you?
Oof, that's hard.
Okay. This is a stretch, but so there's a scene like in one of the vignettes where this old man walks into his house and there's some guy trying to rob him, but all he really has is like inconsequential knowledge and like historical documents. And then they just like end up chopping it up in his house.
That's you.
Yeah, that felt very like if you robbed me at 80 years old, that's probably how it would go
I
down.
love that guy because he was. I probably hate the cops more than you do. I'm not gonna call them.
He also just like the guy who robs him like feels so disarmed that he literally gives him his gun. He just like is literally disarmed by this old man.
Who is an anarchist? He's an anarchist that he tries to convince him to fucking like blow shit up, which is fun. And that's very Mitch. Mitch has oftentimes incited violence.
Okay, that's so not true. Mitch steers away from it. If anyone, it's you who incites violence. Where were you January 6th?
Grassy knoll over here.
Shit, well, I think I would probably be... It's not that memorable of a scene, but it's like towards the beginning when they're in that big house of like 8 people and they're in the living room and everyone's just kind of like vibing. They're like smoking and chilling. And this one guy like is just talking shit about politics and George W. Bush and how it's all connected. And I feel like that's me where it's like no one wants to hear it, but I'm like, but you have to see the bigger picture, man. Where'd you read it? I read it on the Times or whatever. Like you got to read, man.
I think I relate most to the guy who gets a ride back from the funeral and bumps cigarettes off people. I want to be that guy.
When he already has a full pack. That's some true grifter behavior.
Yeah.
I kind of respect that grift, to be honest.
I want to be that guy, but I think really realistically, I'm probably more like the anti-artist at the end who walks up to that guy.
Yeah. Holy shit, yeah. To be honest, when this movie started, I was like, I wonder how young Ben watched this because this is reminding me of Ben when we first met.
It's like, I don't really participate in art. I just prefer to tear other people's down.
That character you mentioned says that even destruction is a creative act. There's a lot of like high school wisdom in this movie. You could tell it was made by a young adult. Going back to that character, Mitch, that you were talking about, the old man who disarms the robber, and he takes him out on a walk, and they walk to the part of Austin where you can see the top of the like Capitol building, the legislature building, and you can see the clock tower from where Charles Whitman shot a bunch of people back in the 50s. In the movie, the character says he like admires Walt Whitman. He says, "I wish I could have been there that day." And then he turns to the legislature building and he says, "One of these days I'm gonna fucking blow that thing up. I have maps in my room and I'll do it." There was an interview that Richard Linklater did for the 30th anniversary of this movie, and he's an old man now. He's a father. He says in the interview that when they first watched the movie together, everyone laughed at the Charles Whitman part, but they didn't laugh about blowing up Texas legislature. But when they watched it for the 30th anniversary, it completely reversed. Nobody laughed at the Charles Whitman quote, but everyone laughed about blowing up Capitol Hill in Texas. And he said he wouldn't have done either of those things if at the time he was a dad who cared about the future.
Which is fair. This feels like a very young perspective.
Yes.
I do also love that in that scene where the old man is like talking about how he was part of the Spanish Civil War, but specifically the Lincoln Brigade, which was a group of like volunteers who fought for the Republican side against Franco in the Spanish Civil War in 1936. And he's talking about that. He's given all these war stories, and he comes back in, and then his daughter's like, "Yeah, did he tell you he was part of the Lincoln Brigade?" "Yeah, that never happened."
So which character was your guys' favorite?
My favorite character has to be the one trying to pawn off the Madonna pap smear sample.
Classic.
They were so funny.
That's Teresa Taylor. She was in the Butthole Surfers.
I don't know. I love their casual, just like, "I was just trying to make a deal, man. Bye. I see none of you want a discount. Whatever. It's all good."
Also, that story she tells about the dude waving his gun on the highway, that was a real story that Teresa Taylor told
really?
Richard Linklater. A lot of the process behind making these scenes was Richard Linklater would pick a person he knew and would pick them for a character that he had written, and they would work together to create like their own story. And sometimes they'd be generated out of stories that they've told each other. And that's an example of one of them. She told him the story, and he's like, "Can you recite that again for the movie?"
She was a hoot.
I guess if I had a favorite, it was like the conspiracy theorist at the beginning who's just like just starts following this guy home.
Oh, yeah.
Just from like a humorous perspective, just like never ending spew of conspiracy theories about the CIA and
Aliens.
what's the shit where they gave people LSD,
MK Ultra.
Yeah.
MK Ultra, all that stuff. Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm just going to wait outside."
Yeah, make sure we weren't followed. Yeah, that definitely was probably the one I found the most entertaining.
He's wearing a Batman shirt too.
And I think they were followed. Like, not like I think throughout the entire conversation, the same person is walking behind them, which I don't know. There are a lot of things that I wanted to see pay off later that don't, and that was one of them for sure. I was like, "Oh, are they being followed?"
Yeah, well, there's not really any plot to pay off. They're just micro stories. No. And I mean, since the characters aren't consistent, there's no continuous thread. They're just micro stories.
What was yours?
Mine, that probably the Shuey Howdy Shucks girl. The girl with the deck of oblique strategies. She's a classic. I fucking love her quote when her friend walks outside and says she's late, and she's like, "That's okay. Time isn't real."
That's my sister, dude. That's my sister.
I just enjoy how the characters are presented to us through these little vignettes. They have such a small amount of time to give you what they have. I don't know. It feels like people watching, but more intimately, which is a benefit of the medium.
To go back to your previous question about which character are you, for my boyfriend who loves true crime, he is that creep that comes up to you at the bookstore and is like, "Oh, yeah, you're going to really love this one. It's got the neck snap and everything." That was so awkward. And she was just like, "Yeah, man. Well, I haven't read this yet. I'm just perusing through."
All right. So that's probably enough questions about the characters. Let's move on to the next question, which isn't a question. It's a demand. I'm going to demand this of you. Say something nice about Slacker.
I'll go first. That show was fun. I had a good time. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I do remember you telling me about this years ago, Ben, where I was like, one late night in college where I was like, whoa, what if like a movie like followed different people? Like somebody walked across a screen and then it follows that person. You're like, there is a movie like that. It's called Slacker. And I was like, yeah, I'll never watch it. But there are just so many like little ideas. It's really funny. There are a lot of funny moments in it. And I had a hoot. Now that hoot did waver at some points for me, but I did have a fun time watching it.
Oh yeah. I love Slacker. I've talked about it for years. It's one of my favorite independent movies. And it's funny you mentioned that because Richard Linklater talks about, someone asked him where he got the idea for the movie from, and he says he was just driving and the idea came to him and he thought it was original. But then he found out that there's a whole bunch of other movies where they kind of do the same thing. One of them's called Phantom of the Paradise, which is directed by the same guy who did Scarface. And apparently it wasn't well received by critics, but it's got like a cult following now. Now I really want to watch it.
Put it on the pod.
Mitch?
I would say it's a plucky film in that it's got grit, it's got moxie for doing what it did with what it had.
Yeah, but I like
Moxie.
I like the word plucky.
That's about
plucky.
Yeah, that's kind of the extent of the nice things I can say about this film personally, but I'll divulge my thoughts on it later, I guess.
I like how inspiring it is. I can definitely see how it inspired people to want to make movies. It's you watch it and it's like, dude, I could do that with a fucking ham sandwich. Packs a lot and a little. The characters are ridiculous. Austin's really weird, and that all comes across. Next question, which again is not a question, it's a demand. Say something mean about Slacker.
Mitch, I'll let you go first on this one. I feel like you got something cooking.
Not really. I mean, I don't have a lot of thoughts. I just found the film to be totally insufferable. I thought it was such a slog, dude. I hated this movie. But it's not very well articulated in my mind because I was really struggling. I just found the conversations very irritating and repetitive, even though there's a different character every second. It was just I guess you would almost call it a hillbilly philosopher thing going.
J.D. Vance's hillbilly.
Yeah. I mean,
hogs on a farm.
Yeah, it's not exactly that. It's there's an appeal to a certain segment in time and culture here that feels significant to some people, but I find totally banal.
What culture and time do you think it's representing?
It's sort of the early 90s, late 80s, countercultural malaise, coming off the Reagan administration and frustration with the sort of aimless, Gen X is very the sort of lost generation in certain senses, where they really didn't get the prosperity of the boomers, but they still had to fit into society. The structures still kind of worked for them, and the sort of malaise of that and the banality of that is very expressed in this film, but it didn't capture me.
I think that's a really accurate assessment of what it does. It's a very Gen X movie, but the cool kind of Gen X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A film I was thinking of a lot when I watched this was Raising Arizona. I think those same cultural touchstones are in Raising Arizona in a much more enjoyable and maybe heartfelt way that gives you something to actually grasp onto.
Yeah, I can sort of see that. I don't know. I feel like Slacker is a broader stroke. Yeah, Lucas?
No fucking payoff. God damn. This felt like a student film. And it had good like legs in terms like I liked the conception or the idea of it. Like I was hooked in a couple of different areas right away when the guy runs over that woman, comes back around, goes into his apartment. I was like, oh shit, he got away with it. Like I'm so curious to see where this goes. And then it moves off from him, and I was like, okay, well at the beginning, Mr. Linklater was talking about how your dreams are other realities, and sometimes those realities dream about your reality. And so I thought there was going to be some like coming back to those characters, and that never happened. There was that one scene where the people are talking about their trip to like India or Bali, and she just stops in the middle and she's like, the next person who walks past us is going to die in a fortnight. And I was like, hell yeah, let's see this. And like the next scene was fun, but you know, no payoff. Once I realized that there wasn't going to be payoff, I was like, okay, it is what it is. I accept it. I accept that, you know, also all the anarchist stuff, it's fun, but sometimes a little empty. And like I was vibing, I was having a good time, and then like 40 minutes in, I was like, shit, there's still like an hour left of this. Oh no. And it dipped, and it was hard for me to continue watching, but then it came back up towards the end, not to the same level that I enjoyed it initially, but yeah, man, no payoff is rough. Just a bunch of edging. When am I gonna cut?
That's the opener. That's the opener to the episode.
No.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do you that dirty.
Well, the movie doesn't have a conventional script, and I think that might be where both of your main criticisms might lie. The fact that there isn't that like narrative foundation to give things context. For me, I really enjoy that quality. It feels the fact that these stories, these experiences are so fleeting, and you don't know when they're gonna end. I remember the first time I watched Slacker, I was bored up until the character who comes home from the funeral. As I was young and angry, and he matched my mood, and I was like, yeah, I fucking like this guy. And the camera would follow him around, and whenever it threatened to like go somewhere else, when he was at the restaurant talking to people, I thought, oh no, are we gonna switch to these documentarian folks? I hope not. I really hope not. And then it doesn't. He goes to the grocery store, and then the camera goes away, and I felt really frustrated. That's when I realized I wasn't meeting the movie on its own terms, that you kind of just have to let it wash over you, and that these stories aren't going to resolve. You are just going to float around. It's a really, that experience, that feeling of like incompleteness, of observationalism, of I guess kind of liminality. It has a sort of liminal sense to it, is really, really appealing to me. And you couldn't do that if you had like plot beats, if you had a succinct story that had threads resolved all the way through, you know. But I understand where you guys are coming from.
I'm not opposed to the like lack of script. I am all for like improv, feeling it out. But like within improv, you can still build the story. You can still have a crescendo. And like, I'm not saying every single story needs to have a conclusion or needs to be revisited, but like it would be nice if every now and then some of the stories came back, even if it was in a minor thing in the background of one story. Like how much more interesting and engaging it would be to see these people like cross again eventually, because it is a big city, but also like people run into each other, and you don't realize how like interknit and interwoven we all are.
I mean, my criticism is not even the vignetting. I just think all the characters are just totally insufferable to listen to. Like I think they're all so fucking annoying. Like I was so triggered listening to these people talk. Like
Mitch hates Gen X.
No, it's not even generational. It's just like you meet these people that like don't know how to shut the fuck up, and they're on about some bullshit you don't care about, and it's like a whole movie of that, and it's I was exhausted. If it was 30 minutes, well, fine, like it's an experience, but yeah, like an hour 40 of that is just so tiresome.
Okay, what do you guys think about the film's title?
It's serviceable.
I mean, I get it. Like, most of the people were not doing shit. Like, we're observing them when they're in their downtime. You know, there's that one guy who the girlfriend's like, why don't we go out and go to the park? And he's like, ugh, I hate the outdoors. And going to the park, you can't just go to the park. You have to plan to get ready to go to the park. And so, like, yeah, I get the title meets what comes of the movie.
The movie kind of acts as a time capsule. It's not a documentary, but it is very much a product of like its time, just because it used the mediums available to low budget filmmakers at the time, and it used a lot of local actors who were just friends with Richard Linklater. And they weren't playing super demanding roles; they were playing roles that they fit in because Richard Linklater picked them for it. So there's very much like a nonfiction element to the movie, and that manifests sort of as a time capsule. Was there any temporal elements about the movie that stood out to you?
Yeah. Oh my God. That one scene when the guy like is putting a quarter in to get his newspaper and it doesn't work, and so he has $1 and he's asking for a change, and I'm like, one, quarter in for newspaper, like that dates this movie, like that's not very much around. And then two, like you have cash.
I also don't carry cash with me, and I got roasted the other night for not carrying cash on me.
What boomer did that to you?
I got roasted by someone younger than me.
Zoomers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the time capsule stuff I think it's the political sentiments, talking about Bush. They don't talk about Reagan, but it's very much like in a post-Reagan era, the style, how people dressed. It's very like, early 90s, late 80s, kind of a bit of a hippie revitalism that you see in that like sort of pre-grunge 90s. Your sort of new age, new wave.
Yeah. I also think, sort of speaking to a point I made before, I think the pastimes in one of those scenes, there's a couple who just walk into their friend's house. Like nowadays, people call, text first, or they just hang out over the phone or over Discord or whatever, like we're doing right now. Or shoot you. But that sort of seamless face-to-face interaction is not only an element of the time, but also like an element of the movie. So much of the movie is based on this sort of like a communal mixing, just putting people in a fucking washing machine and shaking them up.
Yeah, like that Madonna pap smear person came up and didn't know either of them, and like no one's on their phones, and they're just like, oh, do you know this person? Like, no, let's talk anyways, and I'll just tell you about my Madonna pap smear that I got and this shooting that I saw. Like that doesn't happen these days. These days it's like, who's gonna be there from what time to what time.
There's also, there's a couple scenes where people make plans, and it's like, I'll see you. Do you want to meet back at the theater in 2 hours? We already like missed the start. So, it's like, I'm going to go to the bookstore, things like that. Whereas just be like, hey, I'm going to pop down the street. I'll text you when I'm on my way back to the theater. Like all these like ways of communicating. There's a sort of trust in plans back then. And I even remember this is like, you had to call your friend's house to be like, hey, can so-and-so come over, and maybe on Friday at 7 or whatever. There's definitely a little bit of innocence there in the pre-technology era. There's a simplicity to it.
I remember making plans like that. That was fun.
Yeah.
Do you have the like list of your friends' home phone numbers on the fridge?
Yeah.
Also that scene of the kids, the roving gang of kids that were like jumping in, this like demolition construction area, and then they're like kicking the what is it called? The
vending machine?
The vending machine, thank you. To get like free soda. It's like, one, I don't know if kids play outside like that anymore these days. And two, I don't know if parents would allow kids to be running around a construction site like that or a demolition site like that.
Just feral running around in a derelict building.
But like I remember the days when it was like, okay, when the sun comes down, that's when you go home. But other than that, you out and about and you roaming like it's fucking, I don't know, Mad Max.
He says as he's tapping his cane.
Did you guys ever do the trick at vending machines where you put a string on a quarter and you like?
Yeah, we did.
Did it work?
Yeah. On like it had to be old.
Yeah, because they put in like razor that would like cut the string.
That's fucked up.
But there was like an old vending machine from like the 70s in a barn near where I lived, and it always worked. It was
When you were going to the bar as like The kid.
The barn.
Barn. Just
Along with this movie being a time capsule, it's also kind of like a geographical. It's noteworthy for its geography because it's set in Austin. Austin is very much a character of the movie, but the premise is so loose. Anybody could make this movie, and anybody could make this movie anywhere at any time. So if you could set this movie in a different city during a different time period, what city and time period would you choose?
this would work really well in like Tin Pan Alley in New York. I believe it was in like beginning of the 20th century. You had all these musicians who like didn't speak the same language in the same neighborhood. It was called Tin Pan Alley because people would like bang on tin cans, and music was basically being created. Like new musical lexicon was being created in the wild of this neighborhood. It's sort of like where American folk and like the start of different jazz and blues influence come in, and like you have all these immigrant cultures blending, and I don't know, I think that would be a really cool tapestry or tableau of culture.
That would be really fun.
Tin Pan Alley. That sounds dope. I used to play tin pans as a kid.
No.
Yeah, I broke my parents' wooden spoon while I was doing it.
Benjamin. I'd probably do something in like Berlin during the early to mid Weimar Republic, right before the shit hit the fan, because like that was like the height of like liberalism and sexual freedom and queer freedom at the time. Like it was the place where there was, you know, the first sex change and gender affirming surgery, and there was the first library of queer history that eventually was burned down by the fucking Nazis. But that time period would have been so interesting to see all of the different people, because on one hand you have that hyper liberalism, but you also have the crazy conservatives, you know, gearing up, and I feel like that would be a wild slice of life to see.
That would be fucking wild. The conversations between people just walking through the street in the fucking Weimar Republic.
Yeah, you go into
That
a
Hitler
cabaret.
fellow, he's a bad egg.
I like how you went mid-Atlantic accent on that instead of like
Yeah,
instead of German.
everybody who's old is British or mid-Atlantic.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
Pretty sure. I think I just quoted fucking Family Guy, to be honest.
I think similar to the movie, it would also be cool to see like San Francisco during like the 60s, during the counter-revolution and all those hippies and Hay Street and
Haight-Ashbury.
queer liberation there. Yeah.
That would be fucking dope. It just make me want to live there. Sounds like a fucking good time. I'd probably choose Miami in the 80s.
Ooh,
Super
that would be
coked
amazing.
up. Real
Coked up, full of Cuban immigrants. That'd be really fucking cool.
That would be amazing. Good salsa.
That you can't eat because it's in the
Not
movie.
salsa, not food salsa. Dancing
yeah.
salsa. Fucking white boy.
I knew what you meant, Lucas.
Thank you. God damn.
God damn it, dude. You know, I really liked Bad Bunny's fucking Super Bowl show. I'm hip.
Oh my God. My mom was visiting, and I was on the phone with them afterwards, but like we all ended up crying like because of that. That was such a good halftime show, and I didn't realize, I knew it was going to be like very powerful. I did not know how much I was going to need it in this time, but like him handing the Grammy to his like younger self, like him saying God bless America and then talking about all of the countries in the Americas, or like
Hell yeah.
him telling the married couple to dance without fear, like powerful.
Yeah, and the Patriots getting absolutely demolished.
Hey.
Symbolism. Symbolism's everything.
Hey.
What do you think this movie was about, if you think it was about anything?
This was a weeb who wanted to do an American slice of life anime.
Yeah, I mean, it's a snapshot. It's a time dilation, you know? I don't think it's really about much other than an angst. I would just say it's angst incarnate.
Is very angsty. If someone told you Slacker was their favorite movie, what would you think about that? I think we know Mitch's answer. Violence.
That's fine. I mean, it's not really. I would really not have a problem with you saying that it was your favorite movie. I would be like, I probably won't listen to that person's recommendations because I know mostly because I know our tastes. Like, I just know our tastes wouldn't align. Like, if this is your favorite movie, like, we're not going to be on the same page on very much. That's my
Plus, your
thoughts.
opinion isn't valid, and you shouldn't vote.
This is not what I'm saying.
I know. I get it. But you could still see that they could give you good recommendations, but more often than not, you probably ain't gonna vibe with their recommendations, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's roughly where I'm at.
I think that they are they're someone who wants to be creative. Like, they're somebody who wants to be involved in filmmaking or storytelling in some form or fashion, and they like the conceptual. They don't need it to be this perfect, polished, gemstone. They are fine with like a diamond in the rough, and they are interested in seeing a little bit of the seams of the movies and being inspired to do something themselves.
Yeah, see the seams, see the boom mics drop into frame occasionally.
Yeah. That was so obvious. If someone told me Slacker was their favorite movie, I would think that they, like Lucas, they're probably an aspirational filmmaker, and I would stand to reason that the rest of their favorite movies are probably insufferable.
Oh my god!
They probably really like
Suspiria
mumblecore. If you could ask Richard Linklater any question about Slacker, what would you ask him?
If you could go back in time and film this again with the same like budget, or maybe even like minimally more, but very minimally, would you change how you approached it? Like, would you add more plot? Would you have more people come back in?
Well, I wouldn't have taken any more budget to have people like come back into the movie. In fact, it probably would have made the movie cheaper to make. So you reuse actors, costumes, that's all that kind of stuff.
That's fair. Yo, Linklater, hop in the chat. Let me know.
You go, Ben. I need to keep thinking.
I would ask him what he learned about directing from directing this movie, just because I'd like more insight on the directorial process. Also, he self-taught. He was just a really big film nerd and was a member of the Austin Film Institute. He sourced a lot of equipment like dolly track and cranes and that kind of shit from the local university, which I think is UT in Austin. And they just kind of borrowed it. For free. So it's a very scrappy style of filmmaking. And now he makes blockbusters. I mean, he made School of Rock, he made Bernie, he made a movie called Hitman. Dude's got big budgets now, so I'm curious, like, what parts of the directorial process are still the same? What did you learn that worked, and what did you learn that didn't? That would be my questions for him.
I don't know if I have any poignant questions. Not that it's not interesting. It's just I'm just drawing a blank, I guess. I mean, I maybe would ask him. The only thing that's come to mind is if you had shot Slacker today, with the paltry budget, same premise, like how would it be? How would Slacker be different trying to encapsulate 2026? What would Slacker look like in 2026?
Would it even be in Austin?
Yeah, would it be in Austin? Like what's picking what culture is worming its way into your brain right now?
Probably be in Minneapolis.
That'd be interesting. I think it's a good question. He lives in Austin. He refuses to work or live in Hollywood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
He loves it in
weird.
Austin. He's a weird guy. Did you guys check out the actor credits? If you did, which one was your favorite?
No.
I mean, I saw that they were listed by obviously there's no real named characters. Like there's a few, but I didn't look into it further than that.
That's a fun read. If you enjoy the movie and you want some more Slacker in your life, just read the credits. There's a lot of fun ones. My favorite one is Traumatized Yacht Owner.
Oh yeah, what was that? What was that scene where
You
they're
should
like,
quit.
I have a mansion in a yacht.
It's just like, you should quit. You should quit traumatizing women with sex.
That was
I would know.
an amazing scene.
I would know. I'm a doctor.
He just sits down and the person's like, stop following me. And then she says that. And then the server comes over and goes, quiet down over here. And it's like, God damn.
Do you guys think you would have enjoyed living in Austin during this time period?
No.
Yeah, it's fucking Texas.
Yeah, that's mainly it. I think I would have loved living in Austin if Austin was teleported into a blue state. But like, I don't know. At the same time, fight the good fight. We need more liberals in red states.
Yeah, just not us.
Hypocrites. Hypocrites
Yeah.
is what we are.
It just looks sweaty. That was my takeaway. Austin looks 90. Looks sweaty. AC was not what it is today.
He said it was one of the hottest summers that he could remember while they were filming.
Damn.
Honestly, we should just let Texas secede. They want to anyway. And they're on their own power grid anyway because they're idiots. Not the people who live in Texas, the idiots who design their fucking power grid. Okay, well, I really only have one more question. Are you guys ready for the final question?
Well, what about
I
you?
am.
What? Oh, well, I could probably do well during any time period.
Says the white man. I'm just...
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
Are you guys just dying for more Slacker questions? Or Mitch looks like he's fucking done.
I'm just tired. That's really it. That I kind of drag an ass today, but I'm holding through for you, baby. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, boys.
Well, the final question, I think I already know your answer, Mitch, and that's okay. Do you think you'll ever watch Slacker again?
Fuck no.
Probably not, but maybe, but probably not. That was a lot. That was a long movie.
It's an hour and 40 minutes.
It felt like
It felt like 3. It felt like
yeah. It feels like a 3-hour movie.
At the very end, I was like, okay, there's 20 minutes left. And I was like, holy shit, it's been an hour. How's there only 10 minutes left?
Y'all have fucked your attention spans with phones.
What are you talking about, bro? Like
I reject modernity.
I literally watch a lot of long movies, Ben. It's just this is not a long movie. It feels long. Yeah.
Yeah, if it had more substance. I love long movies that I can sit down and just like strap on in. But it's got to keep me engaged.
Well, that's all my questions.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. I'll open it up to the peanut gallery.
So outside of the budget constraint, why this movie? What made you want to share this with us?
There's several reasons. I really wanted to share a Richard Linklater movie, specifically one where he does one of these like plug and play premises, because I think they're really interesting to talk about. I like Slacker a lot. It's a fun movie in my opinion, and I watch it a lot, and I knew I could sit down and enjoy it. It's unique. It's a unique approach to narrative, and I was curious how that would go over with y'all. I was curious if any specific parts would pop out to you guys. And also, it's kind of like it's sort of a keystone movie, or a touchstone movie. It's like, when you think of an independent movie, what's so fucking funny, Lucas?
I was just thinking, like, it's a keystone movie, like it's a keystone species. Like, if this movie disappears, it's gonna be the collapse of the film industry.
all other independent movies will just vanish.
Yeah. Don't let them ban it.
But it kickstarted a wave of like interest in independent filmmaking. Yeah, it's noteworthy in that sense. I think it was selected for preservation by the Library of Congress. So
It's in the Criterion collection.
It is in the Criterion collection.
Yeah. And like, film nerds love diverse fucking shit. They love getting their hands on all sorts of different types of movies. But Slacker is so like of its creators. Like it's just a gang of kids who are really passionate about movies, and that comes across really clearly in the finished product. And there's a charm to that I think is fun to discuss.
When was the...
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for answering my question so coherently.
I'm not usually coherent. I don't know what happens.
Out of body.
When was...
Sorry.
God damn it! When was the first time you watched this movie? What year, if you remember?
I don't remember. I think it was when I was in film school, so like 2014-ish.
Has your opinion grown or changed since then on it?
Yeah, definitely. I when I first watched it, I thought it was boring. I didn't understand what the hype was, but as I sort of experienced more movies that were like not traditionally told or traditionally made, it sort of gave me the tools to watch it without feeling like it was a slog. And that was a fun moment for me. I'm not trying to say Slacker is like some experimental movie or anything. It really isn't. It's a really simple movie, but it is unique, and that uniqueness can be off-putting. But if you can crack through that, if you can find a way to enjoy it, there is like this really ethereal, floaty, liminal sense that you get from just like spending an indeterminate amount of time with characters that I haven't experienced before. And also, when I first watched it, I connected a lot more with the angsty parts of the movie. So, yeah, my opinion on it has developed in that I'm not so much of an angsty bastard anymore. And I can appreciate it as like a sort of a portrait of the people who made it at the time, who themselves have disagreements with the way that they thought back then and the way that they handled things and the decisions that they made, which is really cool. But also, like, just like it helped me develop my attitude towards watching movies. Like, okay, a movie doesn't need to be like this. It can be so many other things that you might not consider at first.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Lastly, would you consider yourself a voyeur?
Oh, yeah. I watch porn all the time.
Okay.
Well, are you a voyeur?
I like watching.
Some films are inherently more voyeuristic. It's funny because kind of the last two we watched are sort of voyeuristic.
Yeah.
The Wind Will Carry Us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Both. Nothing's happening. We're just watching.
Very different kinds of nothing. You know,
Yes.
I think me liking The Wind Will Carry Us and then liking Slacker is very like endemic of like me and his tastes diverging.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that because there are similarities you can note in the narratives between those two movies, whereas not a whole lot happens. The plot is sort of bare bones or non-existent. And the distinction I came up with is Slacker demonstrates from the beginning that what its rules are. So like as soon as it starts, you are like when that girl gets hit by the car, she's the second person you meet and the camera is kind of torn away immediately. You're immediately introduced to the fact that you are not going to get to connect with these characters for any length of time. You're going to spend some time with them and then it's going to move on. So you're immediately introduced to the rules. And that helps my brain go, okay, I know what I'm in for. I'm going to let it wash over me. Whereas The Wind Will Carry Us has a narrative. It has a narrative. And so my brain wants to go, okay, I'm going to assess this by the rules of narrative that I understand. And when it doesn't meet them, it makes me not enjoy it. But I mean, the narrative is still there. It's just skeletal. And I don't say that in a disparaging way. I say that in meaning to be a descriptive way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you agree, Bitch?
Yeah, I mean, they're both kind of slow in very different ways. There's kind of an excess to Slacker. It's like so much is coming at you all at once. Lucas, can't keep your mind. You're just your potty brain.
What? No.
You smirked
Your
like
potty
you had a
brain.
dirty thought.
No, you're potty brain for thinking that. I smirked because I'm like, holy shit, The Wind Will Carry Us is minimalism. Wow, this is maximalism.
Okay.
This perfectly describes you two.
Slacker's not maximalist.
I mean, in some ways it is. Like it's so dense. It's like
There's constant talking.
yeah, like there's never a breath. You can't take a breath. Whereas like
Yeah.
The Wind Will Carry Us is experiential in the complete opposite way, where it's kind of about letting go of the need for things to happen in a certain the whole film is about patience and like sitting in the moment, right? I don't know. So
Yeah, I think part of that is just a consequence of low budget filmmaking. Like you have less resources to do, so you have less content to put in the movie, so you have to make more with what you have. and Slacker chooses to do a lot of things, and The Wind Will Carry Us chooses to do nothing. Well, not nothing, sorry. It's little on purpose. It's part of the narrative.
Well, should we move on to final thoughts and review and numbers?
Yes, we should.
Hit the numbers?
You think our listeners just skip to this section?
Nah.
You probably could gather my thoughts on the movie from what I've said. I won't say much more. It's fun. If you're an aspiring filmmaker, you should watch it. It's an excellent little indie flick that is different. It's a different sort of thing. And Richard Linklater is a goofy filmmaker, but he's really enthusiastic, and that comes across in the film. I'm feeling like a light 8.
I'll go in this sandwich here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious I did not have a good time. I can acknowledge its presence and importance in independent cinema, and I can acknowledge that there's definitely craft elements that should be lauded. Maybe I didn't talk about that enough. For amateur filmmaking, there's some quite nice shots, and yeah, I am gonna say for me this is a 3 out of 10.
This movie is hard for me to rate. I had fun and it bored me. There were points that piqued my interest, but then nothing happened and it didn't pay off. There were super funny moments, and there were moments where I was like, shut the fuck up. I don't know. It's hard. Overall, I'm happy that I did. Like, I'm happy that you recommended it. I'm happy that I did see it. I also am somebody who likes to see the seams of movies and, love to imagine being creative. And, I like to be inspired about, like, getting together with a band of friends and doing something cool like we do.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah, I think this one for me is... I'm going to have to throw it right in the smack dab middle. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
Fuck yeah.
It's ethereal. I can't pin it down.
I have this theory about 5 out of 10 anythings, movies, music, whatever. There's 2 types of 5 out of 10s. There's 5 out of 10s that are in the middle because they're bland and they don't make an effort to go in either direction. Not good enough, not bad enough. And then there's 5 out of 10s that are 5 out of 10s because half of it is amazing and half of it is dog shit.
Yeah.
And those are my favorite 5 out of 10s.
Some are truly 5s and some average to 5.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way of putting it. What's our average? So we got an 8, a 5, and a 3. 8 plus 5 is 13. 16 divided by 3. What is that? Calculator? 16 divided by 3?
See if you can do math faster than us.
5.3.
Hey,
That's,
average to 5.
Better than average, yeah. Okay, well, time for that section of our podcast where we scour the hoity seas and we go searching for the craziest
The bonkersist.
Unhinged reviews of the movie that we can find on the internet.
I can go. All right. So this comes from Letterboxd user William. William gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like everything from 1945 to like 2005 was basically the same. Every American who spent any time in this period is a boomer, even the Gen Xers. Or maybe them especially. But seriously, there's an eerie nostalgia here. Why is it so palpably 90s? And why did the 90s feel like they could be the 2000s and 1960s all at the same time? Thank you, William.
Love it. Unhinged.
I feel like there's a really simple answer to that question, but I don't have it.
I think the answer is it's before they were born. That's why it all feels the same to them.
Yeah, I was watching somebody fucking play this horror game, and they said that it was set in the 1960s. Like, as soon as you start, it gives you a title card that says November whatever 1960, and then the character pulls out a flip phone. And they walk into like a 50s themed diner, and they go over to the arcade machine. It's like What the fuck are we doing? Mine is short, sweet, and cerebral. It's 1 star from an unnamed user on Rotten Tomatoes. They said, the main character is so annoying that he makes the whole thing impossible to watch.
It's Richard Linklater is the main character.
I love that. I mean, isn't Linklater? He's the first person in the.
He's the
movie,
first
right?
character, yeah. Is he the
But
main
there's
character?
the main character. Yeah.
Who's the main
The main character is Anarchy. No, the main character is Austin.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. If this person's saying that, then okay.
All right, hit me, Lucas.
All right.
I'm ready.
This comes from Letterboxd. They rated this a 0.5 star. This comes from user Adam Sandler.
The Adam Sandler?
Probably not.
Adam Sandler could never have worked in this movie as he is not a slacker and he works very hard. Their entire profile is just Adam Sandler like fan account, and they go and comment on other movies being like, Adam Sandler wouldn't do this, and Adam Sandler loves this.
I think I saw that one, but I didn't notice that the user was named Adam Sandler.
Well, that's Slacker, and that concludes our first epoch of the year. Join us next week. Not next week. We're gonna take a week off, but next month when we move on to our next epoch, which is bittersweet movies, and we'll be starting with Lucas's pick as he fervently types it into our spreadsheet. Brokeback Mountain. We're gonna watch Brokeback Mountain for our next movie.
Yes, we are.
Sick. I'm excited. I haven't seen this in so long.
I can't wait to watch a
hasn't
movie
seen it
with
at
some money.
Hell yeah. I know. We're starved for it.
We're impoverished out here. We're brought to the sea but cannot find a drink of water.
And please leave a comment. What are some low budget movies you wish we reviewed?
Yeah.
They're like, none. I wish you guys would stop talking.
End the podcast. End it.
I don't know how to turn the podcast off. Just fucking stop talking.
It's beamed directly into their head. Like, please make it stop. I don't want to listen to these men talk anymore. Anyway, dear listeners, thank you for joining us on this week's adventure, and we look forward to having you next time.
Bye-bye.
Kisses.
Bye.